Hello, and welcome back to the Adrian Project. I'm Adrian with a face for radio, and on today's episode, I'm going to be donning cowl and cape and defending the DC Extended Universe. Plus, I'll be bringing you up to date on my Panzer IV build. So, cue the music. Right, so before we start, I'd just like to make a couple of pointers. First off, I know everybody has their own opinion. I think it was Oscar Wilde who said, opinions are like arseholes. Everybody's got one. So if you agree with what I'm about to say in this video, fantastic. If you totally disagree with what I'm about to say in this video, it's fantastic. That's your point of view. Don't you let anybody else tell you any otherwise. If that's what you think, great. The second point is that I love both franchises, both the DC and Marvel franchises, but I'm not a fanboy. I'm not a 35-year-old bloke that should have moved out of his parents' house years ago, who still gets his jollies by knocking one off over an over-sexualised and stylised picture of Catwoman or Batwoman or Slugwoman. So I'm not going to get all bent out of shape because the film doesn't concur with the comic book. I've not had a comic book since I was about 10 years old. So a lot of the origin stories that appear in these comics, I'm totally clueless on. Even clueless on. I just take these films as what they are, a couple of hours of escapism from a pretty naff day that you might have had. We all have them, and you just want to sit down, switch your brain off, and watch ridiculous set pieces being performed by people in practical costumes in impossible situations. So with that in mind, let's crack on with the video. The reason I'm doing this video is because YouTube seems to be awash with reviewers absolutely slamming the D.C.E.U, and as far as I can see, they're just doing it to try and make a name for themselves. There's absolutely no reason. These films are not as bad as they try and make you believe that they are. It's usually a bunch of 20-somethings who have just spent the last 3 years at some left-wing flea pit doing a film and media studies course, and now they think they know it all. I say you do have your opinion, you have your own views of anything, but the way they sneer and make comments about these films is just totally uncalled for. Now, the review that made me want to do this video was one that I saw for Justice League. Now, the main point about it was we were having a go at the character Steppenwolf, and they were saying, "Oh, it's all CGI. Oh, it's terrible. Look at it there." But it wasn't that long ago before that where they were extolling the virtues of Thanos on Infinity War. Correct me if I'm wrong, that's totally CGI, isn't it? He just looks like a big blob of purple plasticine with a ball sack for a chin. But apparently, he's great, he's fantastic. And the Steppenwolf character is rubbish. Well, they're both one and the same, in my view. So at the end of the day, they're both CGI rendered. Get over it. 99% of the people are like me. We just watch these films for a couple of hours of escapism. If your fanboys want to go and cry about it, then off you go. So after that little rant, I'm going to go through my little collection of DC DVDs and give you my views on them. I think all of us of a certain age will remember the Adam West version of Batman. It was campy, it was bright and gaudy, it was absolutely brilliant, and we loved it. And that was our staple for superheroes right until the later 70s with Saturday morning reruns of both the TV series and the film. And then, of course, in the mid to late 80s, along came Tim Burton, and he did Batman with Michael Keaton, who I think is probably the best Batman in my book. And a couple of years later, he did Batman Returns, which I think is one of the best Christmas films. Yes, Christmas films. Because if Die Hard and Home Alone can be judged as being Christmas films, just because they were set at Christmas time, then Batman Returns deserves the same plaudit as well. But with these two absolutely brilliant films, which other reviewers have gone over ad infinitum, I think these two films ruined the next two in a way, because without those two, I think Batman Forever and Batman and Robin wouldn't get the short change that they do. I think where Tim Burton tried to make it more gritty and more realistic, Batman Forever and Batman and Robin are most definitely in the Adam West camp of doing it. And when I say camp, I mean camp. I love these films. I think they're great. Jim Carrey as the Riddler, he was absolutely perfect casting in that. Val Kilmer, what a brilliant job he did. He had big shoes to fill after Mr. Keaton. Couldn't remember his name then. Oh dear. The Batman and Robin one, I don't think it's as bad as what everybody makes out. They really pan it. If you sit and watch it as though it's an extension of the Adam West version of Batman and Robin and forget the Tim Burton ones, you get loads more enjoyment out of it. George Clooney, he wasn't bad as a Batman, I don't think. Arnold Schwarzenegger, it's Arnold Schwarzenegger, one-liners and all. I love this film. I think it's brilliant. And for those who don't like it, you don't like it, you don't like it. But it's not as bad as people make out. Then, of course, you've got Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy of Batman Begins, my all-time favourite film, The Dark Knight, and The Dark Knight Rises. I think Christian Bale was a great Batman. Michael Keaton still edges it for me. I absolutely love these films. If you're not a superhero film fan, I think you could still watch these and get a lot of enjoyment out of them. They are definitely grounded more realistically. There are elements of fantasy world there, but it's more grounded in how things are in the real world. There's been enough said about these films already, especially Heath Ledger as the Joker. I've not seen the new Joker film yet, so I can only go on what I've seen. And Heath Ledger's Joker, I think it's going to be a really, really tough act to follow. I can't see anybody beating it, but there we go. Then, of course, we've got the Batfleck era. Now, I can remember when Ben Affleck was named as being the new Batman, and all the fanboys were crying into their spermy handkerchiefs because they didn't want him to be it. And I think he's done an absolutely brilliant job. I'm upset to see him leave, actually. And his first outing, Batman vs Superman, another film that gets panned by all the Marvel diehards. Oh, let's all have a good laugh at it. Why? Why? It's a brilliant film. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. You get the first introduction as well, Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman, which I don't think you can touch. Brilliant film. The CGI, all films have differing qualities of CGI. Even Marvel don't get it right all the time. But that seems to be brushed under the carpet, doesn't it? But Batman vs Superman, I think it's a brilliant story. They've taken Bruce Wayne, taking umbrage to the devastation that Superman did when he was knocking 7 bells out of Zod in his first movie. So I say, why they panned this film, I just don't know. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. Leave it alone. And of course, Justice League. Now, I think why people have got all bent out of shape with this one is because we've not had 15 origin stories made like what Marvel did. Basically, I've got a brain, I can figure things out for myself. I don't need to be told where these people come from, why they've got the superpowers. I think this is a great film. I think this stands well alongside any that Marvel have done. Another one, it seems to be de rigueur to absolutely pan it and just make a big name for yourself when there's absolutely no reason to pan it. Love this film, watched it the other night and said to me, my wife said the same. Why did they keep criticising this film? There's nothing wrong with it. I would recommend this to anybody. Absolutely love it. Of course, Ben Affleck did have sort of a small cameo role in the Suicide Squad film. Another film that it seems okay to pan. Another film, nothing wrong with it. I can't understand why these people have really got it in for the D.C.E.U. There's nothing wrong with these films. It's like I say, the characters are all there, probably because, yet again, we've not had another 20 origin films like Marvel seem to want to do. You don't need them. Half the time the best part is not knowing. You make up your own mind where they come from. You think back to Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds. He never once told you why the birds were attacking. He left it up to the individual to make up their own mind of what the problem was. That was Suicide Squad. They haven't all got origin stories. I don't think it needs them. It's there. Margot Robbie, absolutely fantastic as Harley Quinn. Can't wait to see the Birds of Prey film when it comes out next year. She's the most standout performer on it, without a doubt. Jared Leto's Joker, I'd have loved to have seen more of it. I think he did a great job because he didn't want to copy what Heath Ledger had done before. He wanted to put his own mark on it. He did. And they just left all his performance on the cutting room floor, which I think is absolute travesty, but that's due to film studio interference. It's just like, let the directors get on with it, leave them alone. So Suicide Squad, I think, is another fantastic film. Go out and watch it now if you've not seen it. It's not as bad as the onliners in YouTube keep making out. Ask anyone in the street to name a superhero, and I'd say without a doubt the first name that would spring to mind would be Superman. And of course, we've got a whole raft of Superman films to go through. So, first up, Christopher Reeve's version of Superman. Absolute classic films. Superman 1. It might not have aged as well as it could have done, but it's still a fantastic film. Superman 2, I don't think was as good, but it's still a great film. Superman 3, now that's the one with Richard Pryor in, that keeps getting absolutely mauled to death. Again, I don't know why. Richard Pryor at the time, his star had risen. He was in Hear No Evil, See No Evil, Brewster's Millions. He got his own live show. At the time, he was at the top of his game. And I absolutely love Superman 3. I think it's a great film. It's one that keeps getting panned, and I don't understand why. Superman 4, Quest for Peace. I understand Christopher Reeve wasn't too bothered about doing that one, and I think you can tell really that he's sort of phoning it in. But it's of its time. It's a little bit political as well, where we're all a bit scared of being nuked to death. And it was just filmmakers' way of getting the point across with the superhero, I think. It's not the best of the four. It's watchable. I'll hold my hands up and say, it's not very good. It's not aged well, but so it's still not worthy of panning that it gets on YouTube as well, on these reviewers' pages. Around the same time as the Christopher Reeve era, I think they wanted a bit of a cash in, and they made Supergirl with Helen Slater. I'll hold my hands up here and say it's not aged well at all. Still watchable, still fun. Faye Dunaway's great in it. Helen Slater makes a great Supergirl. I think it just feels a little rushed. I think Christopher Reeve was asked to do a cameo in it and turned it down. Whether he'd have made it a better film, I wouldn't like to say. I don't think it would, but for a Sunday afternoon, nothing else on the telly to watch, you just want to switch your brain off, I think Supergirl's alright for that. A few years down the line, they tried to do a reboot of the Superman franchise with Superman Returns, starring Brandon Routh as Superman. I think this film is awesome. I love it. Kevin Spacey as Lex Luthor. I think he did a great job. This is yet another film that the reviewers love to hate. Don't know why. I'd love to have seen another film or another two films, Brandon Routh doing the Superman role. Absolutely nothing wrong with this film. Sort of retelling it from the beginning, which I didn't mind, like an origin story. Just a shame they didn't carry on with it, I thought myself. And of course, we had the Man of Steel with Henry Cavill donning the cape as Superman. This is another one I absolutely love. I don't understand why the reviewers hated it. There were a lot of them saying, did we need yet another Superman film? Well, yeah, we did. I think this is a great introduction to Henry Cavill's version of events. It's brought it right up to date. The CGI on it is brilliant, I think. Okay, in Batman vs Superman, we had the dodgy removing of the moustache, so we say, but I don't think you can moan about this film. I love it. I think it's brilliant. Then, of course, bringing us up to date, we've got the critically acclaimed Aquaman and Wonder Woman films, both origin films, because we seem to be needing to go down that route. Like, I don't think we've got a brain, but they're both brilliant, and I think that's put DC firmly back on the footing, which I always think they were at anyway. One more DC film you might not realise, it's from the DC comics, is Watchmen. Absolutely brilliant film. I love this. This is another one that the fanboys don't like because it's not 100% with the comics that they've got stacked up under the bed next to the bloody porn magazines or whatever it is they want to do. Brilliant. Just started watching the new series that come out. Episode 1 was out last week. I think episode 2 is tonight. I can recommend that. It's a great watch. The Watchmen, fantastic film as well. The last one in my collection is the Elseworlds crossover. This is from Supergirl, Arrow and Flash TV series. I've only ever seen the first series of Supergirl. I haven't watched any of the others, just not had time to do it. But that as a crossover event, I really enjoyed it. So there we go. So in conclusion then, the D.C.E.U, is it as bad as what reviewers make out? No, they're not. They're not half as bad as what they make out. Okay, there's some issues with some of the films, but at the end of the day, it's like I said, it's a couple of hours where you switch your brain off and just have a bit of fun. Hell, I even like the Green Lantern film. That's the one that gets the most panning. It's all CGI. I don't care. I think it's great. I think it's a laugh. I think Ryan Reynolds is great in it. I don't know why he's decided to join in on the witch hunt on it. It's not as bad as what people make out, really. But, as I say, at the end of the day, opinions, everybody's got one. You either like them or you don't. And for the D.C.E.U, I love it. I think it's just as good as Marvel. And that's my opinion. And I'm going to stand by it. Those of you who watched a couple of videos back will know I'm currently building Tamiya's 135th Panzer IV. I had planned on doing videos of the build and then another video of the painting and the final reveal. Unfortunately, I've only got a small workbench and I've tried doing videos because, as you know, I use my laptop to film the videos. The hands were in the way all the way. It wasn't very good quality, you couldn't see much. I kept nudging the table and of course that's camera wobble. It just wasn't coming out very good at all. So until I get a better camera for doing it, I'm going to have to do it the old way of doing a picture review of it like I used to on my old videos. But just to let you know, this is how far I've got with it at the minute. I'm really enjoying it. I'm taking my time with it because, like Frankie Day off Frankie Day Models says, you pay decent money for it. What's the point of rushing it? What's the point of being the first person on YouTube to do one? There isn't. You're just not getting your money's worth. Taking my time, doing a good job of it, I think. Really enjoying it. There have been a couple of issues with it, but that's for the size of the parts. For a 1/35th scale kit, there's some really small fiddly parts, and for an old fart like me that's eyesight's not as good as it used to and I've got the shakes, I did have trouble fitting them to the tank, but I'll cover that when I come to do the video at the end. So there you go, that's up to date with my Panzer IV build. So that's the end of yet another video. Sorry. Oh, hang on. It's me. It was me all along. Yeah, that's the end of yet another video. Hope you enjoyed it. Please remember, if you haven't done so already, to subscribe, like and share my videos. It's all very much appreciated. Massive thank you to those who already have, and a big hello to my new subscribers. And here's to seeing you all next time on the Adrian Project. You're just a